Good morning, everybody. Realigning your heart. Right? Yep, got the right title. All right, so, Valentine's Day is upon us this week. It's hard to believe already. And although they're getting picked over, you can still walk into a store and see all of the hearts and the candy and the flowers. They're just everywhere. And I know that this holiday and all of its trappings can feel really great, or maybe not so good, depending on where we are in the romance department. So this month, my intention is to bring the sweetness of hearts, flowers, and candy into our lives, regardless of whatever our Facebook relationship status is. By taking a deep dive into the heart of a number of matters, and we're doing that each Sunday this month. So, if you were here last week, you will remember that we talked about getting to the heart of our dreams. And we used DREAM as an acronym. Let's see. The D stood for what? Anybody remember what D stood for? Anybody? It stood for deserve your dreams. All right, and then reach for them. Expect the best. Align with source. And manifest your heart's desires. And as you will recall, I hope, that we did not explore one of these letters. Does anybody remember which one we did not explore last week? It was A. Suzanne got it. Yes. Align with source. I said that it was so big that it needed its own talk. And so today it gets its own as we are exploring realigning your heart, or said another way, align with source. But first, a moment of heart-to-heart conversation, which I brought those hearts out there, those conversation hearts, but those are another. All right. We often talk a good game about wanting to bring our dreams from incubation to manifestation, but then time goes by, and sometimes years go by, and they sit up there on the shelf, and clearly something is amiss, because what you say you desire to experience, to be, to do, or to have, which have all been installed in you by the source of your being, please remember that, it hasn't happened. And in this case, we are out of alignment, or said another way, we have drifted way, way off course. And I want to share with you a sailing analogy. And so I want you to think for a moment about the clipper ships way back in the 19th century and how they were designed. They were designed to do two very important things. First, to sail very fast, and second, to stay on course. To support these two very important intentions, they had three types of sails. First, there were the gallant sails, which were large and strong and created to catch the full power of the strong wind. And above them were the smaller sails, and they were called the royal sails, which were made to catch the higher breezes. And above the royal sails were the sky sails. The sky sails were small and light and were tied to the very top of the tall masts. They were designed to catch the smallest wisp of wind, the slightest, lightest, highest breeze. Although they could never deliver enough thrust to take the clipper across the ocean, they served a very life-saving purpose. They were there to keep the vessel from drifting off course when the winds diminished. It was the sky sails that saved the day when the winds went away, when it was all calm. They didn't move the ship to its port, but they realigned the ship over and over and over and over again to keep the vessel on course. I want us to look this morning at how to catch ourselves when we start to get off course, when we start to drift, and then making some very important course correction by using our sky sails. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
All right. So catching ourselves. You have to climb up to the crow's nest, and then you. So catching ourselves before we drift too far. How do you know when you've drifted off? How do you know? How do you know when you're out of alignment with Source? Talk to me. How do you know?
You're unhappy.
Okay.
I'm crabby.
Right.
Yeah, I start thinking negative thoughts.
Okay.
Replaying negative
Yeah, that's right. You're unhappy, negative. So that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line of how to tell. We don't feel good. We don't feel in joy. We don't feel that natural happiness. It's really as simple and as profound as that. When you're feeling a little bit off, you're out of alignment. Conversely, when we are in alignment with Source, regardless of what may or may not be going on in the world, we feel good. We feel good. Now, it may not be a yahoo, yippee, jump up and down, turn somersaults and do the end zone dance or whatever they do with the, when they make a touchdown, right? It may not be that kind of feeling good, but perhaps a settled, at peace, centered, anchored, strong, secure feeling of good. You know what I'm talking about, right? When you just feel that all is right with the world, regardless of what's going on. Have you ever heard the analogy of rumble strips on the road used by Abraham Hicks? No? I know you're a real fan of Abraham Hicks. Okay.
Either.
Okay, well. Do you know what a rumble strip is?
No.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, just for edification, rumble strips, also known as sleeper lines, alert strips, audible lines, the corduroy, growlers, drift lines, drunk bumps, and woohoo boards, are a road safety feature to alert inattentive drivers of a potential danger. Of course, now they have cars that beep, but that's another story. By causing a tactile vibration and audible rumbling. You know when you hit those?
Oh, yeah.
I think Route 66, there's an area that'll actually play America the Beautiful. When you go over, it vibrates and you can hear it. Yeah. It's transmitted through the wheels into the vehicle interior. A rumble strip is applied along the direction of travel, following an edge line or center line to alert drivers when they drift from their lane. Okay. Not feeling good is our rumble strip to let us know that we are out of alignment. It's not playing America the Beautiful, though. It's just letting us know. It indicates to us that we have drifted and we are about to get into some trouble if we keep drifting. Because you know those ones on the side of the road that wake you up before you go off the cliff? That's what it's doing for us. So the first and very important way to ensure that we are aligned with Source is to notice how we are feeling. And if we're not feeling good, we are out of alignment. Once we notice that, it's time for us to make sure that our sky sails are hoisted. Okay, we've got a bunch of metaphors going on here today. Sky sails, rumble strips, and I'm going to use one more from last week. Remember I showed you the video of the little boy climbing onto a really, really big horse with no physical assistance whatsoever in the form of a parent or a ladder. I mean, there's no way I would have thought that was possible. And I asked you to notice two things once he made it. Did you notice, one, that the horse just waited so patiently as he climbed and he slipped and he climbed and he slipped and he climbed and he slipped? And then number two, how the little boy just loved on that horse once he got on top of it, once he finally made it on top of it. It was a huge horse and such a little boy. Those are metaphors for ways that we can align with Source. So the first one I want to take a look at is the horse waiting patiently. What a beautiful metaphor for Spirit simply awaiting our realization of it. So I think that's amazing. And how Spirit, how it's in our realization of it that we align or realign with it. Holmes says in the 365 Days of the Science of Mind, we must come to realize that God is not in some far-off place, but instead that God is an inward, intimate presence closer to us than what? Our very own breath. God is not nor can ever be separated from us, but too often we separate ourselves from God. Always and in all ways, the source of all creation, of all life, lives as you and stands at the ready to express as you. But first we have to align. We have to make that first step. We learned a new term here last year. I'm sure that this is another one no one's going to remember because I think I briefly just talked about it. It was pronoia. Pronoia. Believing that the universe is conspiring in our favor. I just love that. I love the thought of anything conspiring for our good. It's conspiring in our favor. To put that word into new thought language, we might say it means that we know at the core of our being that we embody the concept that there is a divine intelligence and a divine love conspiring to bring about good, wholeness, peace, plenty, health, and harmony in our life. Who wants that? Me. I want all of that. Holmes writes in Science of Mind, we are surrounded by an infinite possibility. It is goodness, life, law, and reason. In expressing itself through us, it becomes more fully conscious of its own being. Therefore, it wishes to express through us. As it passes into our being, it automatically becomes the law of our lives. It can pass into expression through us only as we consciously allow it to do so. Therefore, we should have faith in it and its desires and its ability to do for us all that we shall ever need to have done. And that is how we set a sky sail. We have faith in an infinite possibility and its desires and its ability to do for us that which shall ever we shall ever have need done. In Rob Brzezinski's book, Pronoia is the antidote for paranoia, he wrote, let us release the cult of doom and gloom and embrace the cause of zoom and boom. Let us laugh at the foolishness of evil and hate as we summon the brilliance to praise and create. No matter how upside down it all may appear, let us have no fear, because we know this big secret. All of creation is conspiring to shower us with blessings. Life is crazily, brazenly, and innocently in love with us. The universe always gives us exactly what we need, exactly when we need it. Just like that beautiful big horse waited patiently for the little boy to climb aboard, so does the universe wait patiently for us, because it so loves us, to climb on board, to realign, to set our sails, our sky sails, and move in the direction of our divinely inspired dreams. Again from Ernest Holmes, he writes, when we learn to trust the universe, we shall be happy, prosperous, and well. We must learn to come under that divine government and accept the fact that nature's table is ever filled. Never was there a cosmic famine. The finite alone has wrought and suffered, and the infinite lies stretched in smiling repose. That's quoting Emerson. God is always God. No matter what our emotional storm or what our objective situation may be, there is always a something hidden in the inner being that has never been violated. We may stumble, but always there is that eternal voice forever whispering within our ear, that thing which causes the eternal quest, that thing which forever sings and sings. This is the thing itself. That is the loving energy that is conspiring for our good. That is the horse just waiting for us to jump up on it and ride. And that brings us to the little boy loving on the horse. And so we do. We get paranoid and we truly believe that the universe is conspiring for our good. And then we move forward as if. We follow the lead in our heart and we see demonstrations of it, which we will if we're paying attention. We acknowledge them, and most importantly, we are grateful. We are grateful, just like the little boy was when he finally made it onto that horse. Now, unlike the horse that perhaps needed the pat of reassurance, the universe does not need that from us, but we need to do it. We need to do it for us. And here's what I know, not because someone told me or because I read it in a book, but because I've experienced in my own life. The more we move forward, following the lead in our heart, and then stand in profound gratitude for even the slightest hint of demonstration, the quicker things seem to occur. They just seem to really start coming at us, right? I was at my dad's this past week, and we wanted to install this bar apparatus in his bathroom. He's 92. He needs a little assistance here and there. And it's something we talked about really for several years, but things move a little slower. And we had initially asked if my stepmother's son, Warren, who owns a pool business and is really talented with plumbing and that kind of thing, we thought if he could come and look at it and see what he could do, but he didn't have time the week before. And so we kept moving ahead, and we found the right kind of bar that we thought would work, and we thought, well, we'll tackle this ourselves. And so we moved ahead and we started, and both my husband and I tried to get these bolts out, and they were rusted solid. There was no way we were going to get those out. So I sent a picture to my stepsister and I said, do you think Warren could get these out? And she said, oh yeah, I think he can. He'll stop by. Well, he didn't stop by that day. So, okay, was he going to stop by the next day? We thought, okay, we're waiting for him. He fell out of his truck and he broke his arm. Okay, so, but we kept moving forward. We found out that my stepmother's best friend is a handyman, so we were encouraging her to call him. And, we were grateful that solutions were coming up. I mean, it wasn't like, gee, there's just nothing we can do. It's like, oh, well, we didn't know this. We'll go this route now. And then what happened, it was truly a miracle. Warren and his son showed up. And he instructed his son, who's in his 20s, to how to do it. And so here was the whole family coming together. And so we were so grateful, beyond grateful for their knowledge and their willingness to keep moving ahead too. And it turned out great. And so it's all there and everybody's happy and everybody got to participate. So yeah, just remembering to be grateful that it didn't turn out exactly the way we thought it was going to, but it did. It worked out in the end. So that was good. So how do we set our sky sails, which keep us aligned with Source? By realizing that you are so loved and supported by the universe, that it's conspiring for your good. And then look for the evidence of it. That's our job, is to look for the evidence of it. And when you see that evidence, follow the lead and be so darn grateful for even the smallest manifestations. I know Suzanne has lots of those to share, that's for sure. These lead you to bigger and sweeter and more delicious ones, and a life that is bigger and sweeter and even more delicious. I want to end this morning by doing something together. We're going to set our sky sails together. First, I want you to think about something that you love, really, really love about your life right now. What do you really love about your life right now? Second, think about something you really love about yourself. What do you love about yourself? And third, think about something you really love about your experience here this morning. Think about something you really love about your experience here this morning. Okay, we're going to have a community moment with this. So again, one thing you really love about your life, one thing you really love about yourself, and one thing you really love about being here today. And now I want you to turn to someone and share those three things. Ready, set, go? Go. What do you really love?
I love my grandchildren. I love being there. I love retirement. I'm happy to be here. Myself. No, what do you love about your life? I like to say I'm interested.
Oh, I love it. I have three kids that no matter what goes on, they always forgive each other. And what I love about myself is, I don't know.
You're pretty tough.
Okay, yeah. Here I am. I'm sure. Oh, absolutely. I just love this sermon today. All of them feels great.
Yeah, okay, awesome.
All right. How do you feel?
Great.
Yeah.
We're not done. Yeah.
You're not
We're
done
having
yet?
a threesome back here.
Oh, okay, keep going.
We were just talking.
Keep going. Finish up.
Still here, yeah.
Oh gosh, I'm not enjoying you
What was
back.
the other one?
I love you.
I have some rewarding in my life, but it's important. And we should really nice to have card here and have like a community.
Yes, it is. We should print that on a card, on our.
Okay, I will do that. Great idea. We're going to print our dream acronym on a card.
And some card stuff.
I don't listen to.
Okay.
Oh, your husband's.
You don't listen to her at home.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
To be continued.
To be continued. We'll continue this over lunch.
So it's sort of
Okay, so how do you feel? How do you feel? You feel pretty good? Yeah? Everybody feel pretty good? Because now you are in alignment. Now let's firmly anchor our sky sails in prayer. So join me. Knowing that there is only one life, and that life is the life of each of us individually expressed, we pray and acknowledge and accept and feel at the very core of our being that we are so very loved and so very supported by the universe. We know that the universe is conspiring for our good, and we look for evidence of it everywhere. And then we move into deep gratitude for even the smallest manifestations, because we know when we do that they keep coming and they get bigger and greater and more wonderful and more delicious. So with love and with light, we release this treatment, knowing it is done. And so it is.